Good night and welcome to the Jamaica Basketball Project. I'm head coach Rick Turner. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you joining the live stream, and always appreciate you also watching on the replay, whether it be on Facebook Live or YouTube. Thanks very much for doing that. I'm excited about the guest I have today. You know, basketball, if you're in the game, it allows you to see many different places of the world and meet many different people. And of course, my basketball journey has not only brought me to Jamaica, but it also has brought me to Haiti and to China and Germany and Spain and lots of places across the United States. And that's no different than my guest, who is a Jamaica national, born in Kingston, moved away when he was a young child, and grew up in the United States, I believe in Florida, but we'll ask him here in a second. It's Kevin Foster. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, man. Yeah. It's obviously you're on the West Coast because it's still daylight outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
where are you hanging out these days?
I'm in Fresno, California.
Okay. And for those that don't know, Kevin went to Fresno State University. But as I'm searching, trying to get some information on you online, there's a Fresno State Kevin Foster, there's a Santa Clara Kevin Foster, and it's hard to tell. Do you guys get mixed up a lot? Have you ever met the other Kevin Foster?
Yes, I've met the other Kevin Foster. My teammate that I graduated with from Fresno State did his 5th year at Santa Clara.
Oh, okay.
But me and the other Kevin Foster graduated at the same time, but he was back in town working out at Santa Clara.
Yeah.
And then over the summer, my boy was like, "Hey, I got somebody I want you to meet." And I was like, "Who?" And it was like, Kevin Foster. And I was like, "Kevin Foster?" And I was like, "You telling me the other guy?" Because when I was in college, my freshman year, he got a DUI.
Oh, okay.
And when he got a DUI, my phone just went crazy. Everybody was like, "Oh, you got a DUI?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm asleep. I'm home." But we get mixed up all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. So, hey, how you holding up during all this quarantine stuff? Are you able to stay inside, or at least stay to yourself, or is it just been hard on you like it has everybody else?
Well, typically it hasn't really been that hard on me because, life overseas, it's a language barrier. When you're overseas, you just go to practice, go eat, come home. You spend more time. If you're not practicing, you're really at home.
Yeah.
Because it's just like being overseas to me.
Yeah.
Go out and do stuff.
Yeah. So your latest job was in Brazil, and that's where you were when this whole shutdown thing happened.
No, actually, I was in when I left Brazil and went to Mexico for I did their preseason workout, and then I hurt my tailbone. And I was out for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because I had left and got I left there to go play in Mexico to be closer to my son for the remainder of the season or whatever out this way. And then the pandemic hit.
Yeah. And then what? They just said, "Hey man, you got to go home," or I've got to go home. What happens there?
They was like, "Hey," first they just had us there sitting, waiting to see if there's gonna once they stopped the league, they was like they was gonna wait. They was waiting to see. They had us there just waiting to see if they was gonna start the league back up. But then that went by 2 weeks. We just was sitting there, and then they was like, "Yeah, everybody just got to go home."
Yeah. So before that, you were in Brazil this season.
Yeah, I was in Brazil.
Tell me about that. How was that?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing out there. I loved it out there. That was my first time going out that way.
Because you liked the culture and the people and the country, or because the hoop was great and the team was good and all that? I mean, what did you like? Tell me some of the things you loved about it.
I like the culture and how they did things there, and the food, the people. Like the basketball was good. It was different because you have some coaches that because I was playing behind 2 national team players.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to another country that have you on team with 3, 4 national team players, and your position, they're going to play those guys first because they want those guys, their country, to develop.
Yeah, sure.
So it's understanding.
I understand that.
Yeah,
Right?
it's understanding. So I just, I go with it. Just stay professional. It's out of my control. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
When my name is called, I just do what I have to do.
Yeah. From a basketball standpoint, were you kind of?
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Were you kind of like a late bloomer in the game, or would you consider yourself like a grinder?
Okay,
or
there we go.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Why can I hear nothing? 1 second.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
What is going on here? Oh, audio.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you?
I can't hear you. Hold on. I'm going to leave and come right back.
Yeah, log off and come back on.
Hold on.
Technical difficulties here. That's okay. We'll get through it. So as I was saying, Kevin has quite a journey. He's played in Venezuela. He's played in Colombia. He's played in Argentina. Started his career at George Mason University. Transferred, went to a junior college, and then ended up at Fresno State. And he's been a grinder in the game ever since then. 6'8". He plays on the perimeter. I'm going to bring him back in here right now. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know what happened. So I was just saying, you've been kind of a grinder in the game, and
Yes,
I'm just kind of wondering your path a little bit, not necessarily where you've been, but what has kept you in the game for as long as it has, and what has motivated you to keep going and keep working at it and keep finding jobs and just keep doing it.
Well, I come from, family that's been hit with all types of negative stuff. So I'm used to negativity. Like, if something's not going my way, I understand it. But if there's a way I can prove myself, I'm going to work as hard as I can. All I know how to do is work hard. Because, some people in the world, they have life's a lot easier. They don't have to work as hard. And some people, they got to work for every single thing that they want. And, that's how life is. Mm-hmm. Once you get old enough and you understand that, like, man, why is it that I'm working so hard and doing all this, and this person is barely even doing anything? He's getting all this, and I got to work 10 times as hard just to even get somewhere close to where he's at. I might be better. I'm better than him and everything, but that's just how life is. And I'm okay with that. If I'm in a situation where I'm the bottom guy, I'm gonna work my way up to the top. Yeah. So my dad was a motivation. My dad passed away in 2012, going into my senior year in college. He passed away. Me and him had a big, great relationship about basketball, and he knew how much basketball meant to me. And coming from a family where I was the second one to graduate out of my whole entire family, high school, college, and professional. I have an older brother I was telling you about that played professional too. And we were the only ones out of the whole family that actually did something. So that motivation from coming from nothing, coming from another country and coming to America, and just that motivation of making something of yourself, that's what really drives me. And then my son also, I have a son that's about to be 11.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest critic and my biggest supporter.
Yeah, so that's easy motivation right there, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you would be unusual to have peaked in college, right? So, we get better as we get older.
That's true.
So ultimately to where, our game starts to decline. Mm-hmm. When did you start to realize that I can play this game a little bit? I'm sure you've had confidence, mm-hmm. the whole time, but where did it come from? Like, where you're like, okay, yeah, I can stay in this game a little while. When did that hit you?
Well, I was I was a real confident guy coming out of high school. So my confidence, because I played with a lot of top ranked guys. I was at one point a top ranked guy in Florida too. Coming into Florida my freshman year, I was like the number ranked freshman in the state of Florida and didn't even know it. I was just playing basketball just to play basketball. My freshman year, my high school teammate towards the end of the year told me we got in an argument. And he was like, "Oh, you think you all that?" When we just having like a little teammate argument or whatever, nothing really too serious. "Oh, you think you all that because you're the number one player in the state of Florida?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then I went and looked at it myself. And to be honest, I used to play football, but when I seen that, I poured everything into it. I was like, "This is my way out." If I'm getting seen like this and I'm not really putting the max effort into it, I'm just doing it just to do it because my friends did it. And it was just something to do to stay out of trouble, to get out, to be away from people, my own little circle. And then I started blowing up and started hearing all this buzz and all this. And I was like, people telling me, "Hey man, you can do something with yourself. You can make it out of here. You can do this, you can do that." And then I was like, you know what? I want a life. And as the older I got, I started learning like my family's past and how they struggled and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I want to be the person that changed that. Create a whole new foundation, and then we can start over from here. And then we can help our family get better and better and better and better and progress. So that was my motivation also.
Have you been tall all throughout your basketball career? Were you a tall kid? Yeah.
Yeah, I was an overgrown kid.
Yeah. So when did you start developing that outside game? Because a lot of times the tall kids just get stuck down low and they put your back to the basket and say rebound and that's it.
See, when I was because that's what I did. When in high school, I was known as a rebounder, athletic guy, run the floor, athletic, play defense, block shots, can score, but I wasn't really a primary scorer. But I could really score. And I could shoot the ball, but I didn't take my first jump shot until my junior year, the regional finals, right before I went to the state championship. And I took my first three. We was down. I think it was down two with like 30-something seconds left. And I used to take shots, but never took a three. But I took threes and stuff like that when I go to camps and stuff like that. Everybody knew I could shoot the ball, but my role on the team was not to do that because we had guys that can do that.
Yeah.
So I just had to clean up everybody else's mess, and I did a really good job at that. That's how I got seen. I didn't develop skills until real skills until my freshman year at George Mason. I was coached under Jim Larinaga. That's the head coach at Miami University now. And that guy gave me all the skills that I have now. I'll always respect that guy because he took his time with me. Because when I was in high school, everybody was like, "Hey, next level, you're going to be a guard, a wing. You need to develop your outside game." And I used to go to my coach and be like, "Hey, I want to learn how to play on the outside perimeter." He was like, "Trust me, don't worry about that right now. Make sure you perfect the post game, the inside game. Once you perfect the post game, the inside game, your perimeter game is going to come. And everything else, and you're going to rely on your post game when your perimeter game is not working." So it made me a two-way player. I could play inside and outside. And Coach Larinaga helped me do all that stuff. And I was very hugely appreciated about it because I still play that way. I mean, I got with other trainers and stuff like that, but just the makeup of it, he started all that. The foundation of my perimeter game all came from him.
Yeah, that's cool. So how did you end up at George Mason from Lakeland, Florida? I know they were, it was 09, I think, 08, 09, or somewhere in that time. They were
06.
06?
Yeah, Final Four. They went to the Final Four run.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I got there.
And I know that put them on the map.
Yeah, they're actually a really good school. I wasn't supposed to go there. I was supposed to go to Missouri on a package deal with my best friend at the time. But George Mason came about going into my senior year.
Who was the guy going to Missouri?
Miguel Paul.
Okay. I haven't heard that.
My going into my junior year to my senior year that summer, my last summer AAU, I basically missed because I broke my hand, and I came back at the end of the summer, which I ended up taking off my cast early in this big time. I think it was a big time tournament in Vegas. I just got tired. I was home for basically the whole summer. And then this team was like, they knew who I was and knew I was a great player and stuff like that. And they was like, hey, you want to go to Vegas? I was like, yeah, I'm going to take my cast off. And they was like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take my cast off. And I got there. As soon as I got there, the first day, I took my cast off. No rehab, no nothing. First game, first shot, made a 3. Couldn't make a layup, but all I could do was make jumpers. No layup. Everyone was like, oh, you can't make a 3. You can't make a layup. I was like, I don't know, but it's working for me.
Yeah.
And I lost a lot of my big recruits because I wasn't on the circuit. And then because I played for Amari Stoudemire AAU team at the time, which was called Team Stat. That's matter of fact, a lot of players played there. Played under me. Austin Rivers, he was on my younger AAU team. There's a lot of guys. Dominique Jones that played in the NBA, that went to USF, that played for the Mavericks when they won their championship. Like, we had a lot of great players, like a lot of them, and especially the younger guys. And the guy at the time was Amari Stoudemire agent, and he was, the AAU team. They always have like somebody to basically, like, they mentor these kids. They mold these kids into, like, when it's time for them to actually sign an agent, you already done built this relationship with this guy from when you was 13 years old. So now, like, when other people come to you, I'm gonna stay with this guy. That's what these guys are doing nowadays, by the way.
That's the hope.
Yeah. So he had a friend that he played with at the time, was his first year at George Mason. He was like, hey, do this deal for me. This guy's gonna take care of you, all this stuff, yada yada. And that's how I ended up at George Mason. But I wasn't gonna go there. I was gonna hold out because I played in the Amari Stoudemire tournament. It was a national rank tournament, I should say, because all the national team was there. We beat the number 2 team in the country. It's a public school. They had Al Farouk Aminu at the time. And they was ranked number 2 in the country, and we beat them. And then we turned around and knocked off the number 10 team in the country and lost to the 15th team in the country on a buzzer beater. And after that, I just blew up.
Yeah.
And but I already had signed to George Mason.
Right.
But I just stuck with it because I felt like it was a good situation for me.
Well, you have good things to say about Coach Larinaga, and I've heard nothing but good things about him. Why did you end up leaving?
So I had a situation where I had my son, and at the time I was a young father, young kid. I was like 19, 20 or whatever, and I was engaged too at the time because I was going to get married to my son's mom at the time, and she wanted to come up, and because I had just had my son in May, and then Christmas break. Christmas break in college, there's nobody on campus, and at the time, being Jamaican and stuff, having a Jamaican family, they're not going to travel that far just like that to come see, family, because my family never traveled that far to see basketball ever because they never known anybody to do that. And so the only family support I really had was my son's mom and my son at the time. And I brought him up there, and Coach Larinaga didn't like it. And we went back and forth with it for a little bit because I couldn't understand it. And I was trying to explain it. I was like, everybody have their family, their mom, their friends, their sister, their girlfriends come up and back and forth, and you don't say nothing to them. And the one time I have somebody that come here for me, you tell me you don't want that to happen. And I just felt some way about that. But I always, like, as I got older, I started to think about, like, all the stuff that he used to say to me. I was just coming in as a guy that, when, like, how I was coached, the coach always said the best 5 is going to play. And I had a hard time when I was younger dealing with the fact that I'm better than these guys. Play me. And it was like, it's not your time. Your time is going to come. These guys, I'm putting these guys in position so they can be able to make money overseas, because they're juniors and seniors and stuff. And I was a freshman. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't care. And because I come from, if I'm better than them, you tell me every day I'm better than this guy, this, and then I don't play, that frustrates a player. You can't tell me that I'm better than somebody and then you don't play me.
Yeah.
Or you play me when you want to. And so we went back and forth for that. And then I had a teammate, my son's mom, like that week, he stopped playing me because he said I was distracted by outside source. But I wasn't distracted. I kind of caught on what was going on or whatever. It was more to it or whatever, but I ain't going to get into that. But I had a teammate that, because I'm all over the place. Coach Larinaga asked me when they're leaving.
Yeah.
I said they're leaving in the weekend. But this was like a Tuesday. But that weekend they was really leaving, but they wasn't leaving the state. They were just going to Maryland to go visit friends and family for the weekend. When I told him they was leaving, they was actually leaving to go visit friends, but not leaving the state.
Yeah.
And I've been practicing and doing everything, working out 3 times a day with him, morning, afternoon, and nighttime. Still doing that, getting up exercise, going to practice. But he's saying I was being distracted by outside source. And the day she left, he said, I can tell that your situation is you're more focused. And in my head, I'm like, she's still here. So you're telling me something. In my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, he's messing with me. He's messing with me. Yeah. And then my teammate, I told him not to say nothing because they was leaving in 3 more days. My teammate went back and told the coach that she was still there. And then me and the coach was like going back and forth. He was like, you lied to me, this and that. And I was like, I never lied to you. They did leave. They was getting themselves together. And I just felt like once you know, make it bad with somebody, it's hard to build that relation back and that trust. And at the time I was like, I don't have time to, you know, be negative or be in a situation where I feel like the coach is against me because we had a situation and then stuff like that. I'd rather just start fresh.
Yeah, that's not just coach player, right? That's any relationship. Yeah. Once you lose that trust with somebody, whether it's warranted or not warranted, or who was wrong or who was right.
Right.
Once that's gone, it's hard to get back. So you end up at Fresno State.
Yeah, I went JUCO for a year, JUCO All-American, and then I went to Fresno State where I went into a situation where right before the season started, I got hit by a car.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, on campus. Yeah. And it slowed me down. I was supposed to be out. I said it's just medical red shirt.
Yeah, that'll slow you down.
Yeah. So I got hit in the leg and it messed up it tore off the ligament, the muscle, and the tissue off my bone. It would have been better if I would have broke it.
Wow. Yeah. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. And it was my jumping leg at the time. And that year, in my mind, I was leaving. I was entering the draft. Nobody could tell me nothing. I was going to the draft. And then I ended up getting in an accident, and then I coming into a situation where the guy that I signed under, the coach that I signed under, Steve Cleveland, he got fired right before I got there, like probably a week before I got there. And then they brought in Rodney Terry, which was a head assistant coach at University of Texas at the time. And a new head coach coming in, they wanted their way. They getting rid of players. Sure. He was a player that they inherited you. You're not really their player, so they really don't really care too much about you, but they're going to use you because you're here. And it just went from there. And, you know, like the 2 years I was here, 8 people quit the team. Yeah, that's how tough he was. He was a tough guy. It was real tough. Yeah. And it was just once he got his guys, the guys that was that was leaving in those 2 years, he didn't really pay much attention to him.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was the turning point for me to really understand that when something's out of your control, it's out of your control. You got to learn how to deal with it. And that's what I did. It's out of my control. You know, it's a coach that inherited me. I got to see it his way, but they're never going to see it your way. You know, that they're taking away from your future, but that's just how life is. You just got to, okay, you're used to this. You know, you back at the bottom. You got to figure it out. So the only thing you can do is just continue to work 100 times harder than anybody that's in front of you. And that's what I did.
Yeah. Then, well,
no matter what.
Yeah, the good news there, after leaving, turning pro, you get some G League run.
Yeah, my first. So what's funny is when I was coming out of college, my agent at the time was like, Kevin, because I signed late, and he was like, Kevin, you had some NBA workouts. I had no idea, no nothing, because the coach just didn't talk to us, the seniors.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about it. I was really upset, like really upset. And I just felt like that was my blessing, my foot in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because I played against Anthony Bennett at the time, that went number 1.
Yeah.
I had my best games in my college career against that guy. And
UNLV, right?
Yeah, UNLV. We beat them twice at our house and at their place. When we played them at their place, I tied the Mountain West record for most consecutive threes in a row, which I went 6 for 6 in a row. And it changed the whole game. Like, it was a crazy game. It was their senior night on TV. I think it was on ESPN. And we just destroyed them.
Well, I know some scouts were in the building.
Yeah, so they seen that. That's what I was like. So I knew that I was going to have a chance. I just didn't know how it was going to come. So then that happened. He didn't tell me. And then that I talked to my agent. I was like, what's the next step for me to try to get my foot in the door? He was like, you got to go NBA G League or D League at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got drafted into the D League, I think like 16th, 17th pick, first round. And had tryouts. And it was like all these NBA guys there. And I was a little nervous, young kid coming in. This is all new, whatever, professional game. I had the skills, like the skill set and everything there. The skill set, the hard work. The only thing that I didn't have, which I knew I was going to struggle with at that time, was learning the professional game, understanding the professional game. I just played basketball. I never had anybody really sit down and teach me the game. Hey, we're going to watch. Like, I watched a lot of film, but I never had somebody just really break it down to me. And that year, my first year, everybody else on the team, they had like really, really big time agents. And, I just a kid, the Jamaican kid coming out of college. I didn't have nobody telling me, hey, you should sign with this guy, you should sign with this, you should do this. Everything was just new to me. So I just did the best I could with what I had, with the knowledge I had, and just made the best out of it. Yeah. And then I went to G League, made the team. Sharif, what's his name? Sharif Abdul-Rahim, the president of the G League now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was the GM of my D League team.
Okay.
And then he came to me. I was supposed to go back the next year, but I couldn't do it because the money situation. Because at the time, if you get deactivated, you don't get paid.
Okay.
And they own your rights. And then at the time, the contracts was real low. Like for a C contract, they had A, B, and C. And the C contract was basically the rookie contract. All the rookies get that. Mainly all the rookies get that. Was like, I think it was like $12,000 for the year, which is nothing. And I didn't even make that my first year. And because they kept having guys come down and they had 10 spots. But the thing is, they never wanted to trade me, and they never released me. And I used to always wonder, like, why are you guys keeping me? There's a reason why I'm still here.
Yeah.
And it was one of those guys. I was a guy that was, if a guy get called up, I'll move into that next spot and they won't miss a beat. But I don't want to be that guy that has to wait for an opportunity when I know I was good enough for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So, it just becomes hard when you're in that business to have somebody to really help you or teach or guide you to do the right things, as in making the right decisions.
Tell me about your experience, because I coached, not in the D League, but I coached at that level of developmental basketball in the CBA, and it's a different deal because guys are fighting for their lives, right? Whether you win, whether the Magic, what is it, the Lakeland Magic or whoever they were?
Yeah, Lakeland Magic, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever, fill in the blank on the team. Whether they win the championship, it really doesn't mean much to very many people. including some players, not all, but some.
Yeah.
So how do you fight through that dynamic of guys that are just trying to get their own, trying to be seen, trying to make an impact to move on, and the importance of what it is to play team basketball and be competitive and all the real reasons why people play basketball, it's to beat other people up.
Well, to be honest, what helped me understand the game. I was being in the D League, in the G League or whatever, was my first time not being a go-to guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it helped me learn how to play off the ball and play off people. Know when to cut, know when to set screens, know when to do all these things. And it took me having to be off the ball and playing off other people to actually learn the game.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I had the skills, I had all the talent, but I just didn't have the knowledge. And that took, even after my first year, when I really picked it up when I got to Africa, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Africa my next year. And that's when I really understood basketball.
Yeah.
Because I had a coach there that actually, he was like a well-known coach in Africa, like one of the best coaches in Africa. And we used to work out all the time. He was like a player development coach, but he was the head assistant, but he was a player development coach also.
Yeah.
And we worked out all the time.
Yeah.
And he was just teaching me the game.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit because that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about. I know that there's kids watching, young Jamaicans watching that aspire to play on the national team someday, or play college basketball, or whatever the dream is. Maybe they just want to make their high school team.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some of the workouts that you found to be really useful, and you don't need to get too deep into the weeds specific about it, but there has to have been a coach or a specific workout that you like to do that you found to be most helpful, that you can relate to somebody else that with a hoop and a partner and whatever.
Well, I didn't work with so many people that you tend to find stuff that's good for you. That's good, like, because everybody have different body types.
Let me interrupt. So, are you at this stage in your career, when you're working out with guys, are you doing your workout or are you doing their workout?
I'm doing my workout.
So
I'll do my workout.
You're going to tell them what you want to do, and you're going to tell them what you want to do, and then they're going to facilitate that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So basically, I do a lot of plyometric workouts. So I do a lot of dumbbells, squats, lunges, step ups, jump rope, quick ladders. And I also wear when I'm doing my exercise, I wear a weighted vest, and do a lot of like single leg explosion stuff to strengthen your single leg, and do a lot of upper body, like chest, like overhead stuff to build up the strength here. And what else I do? What else?
What about when you're getting shots up? When you're
I have
when you're getting footwork and shots up and that kind of thing. Like again, are you doing a workout that you've built for yourself and you have guys there that are rebounding and passing, or
yeah, I have that.
You have a personal coach that gives you a workout?
To be honest, at this stage, I hate when another coach tells me to do what they want me to do, because it doesn't work for me. Well, I don't mind doing it, because you never know what could work for you. If I try it out and it doesn't work for me, then I have to do my own workout, which I learned when I was in the G League. Basically, it's you do forearm shooting, single arm shooting under the basket, in the paint area. You make 4 and you swish the last one. You do those in three to 4 spots around the little painted area. Then you take a step back, and then you use both hands form shooting. And then you do that the same way, you make 3 to 4 of those shots, switch the last one 3 to 4 spots, and then you take another step back, and then now you're doing regular jump shots, stationary jump shots. Same thing. Well, you don't have to switch those. I don't switch those. The last one, I just make 5 in 5 spots. Then I take another step back. No, I do that, and then I do dribble pull-ups. I make 3 going both sides, going both ways, left and right, in 5 spots, 3 shots or whatever. And then I take another step back, and then I do stationary threes. And then I do pull-up threes. And then if I have somebody there that's just willing to pass me the ball, I do running baseline threes, running to the baseline corner threes, lifting out the corner, catching threes, and catching the threes, lifting out the corner into a dribble pull-up. And then make 20 free throws, and I'm done.
Yeah. So that 11,
by that time, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So that 11-year-old is pretty close to being a good passer.
Oh, he's a good passer. Well, I don't know. He watches a lot of YouTube and a lot of Kyrie, so he's probably the worst passer I've ever been with. And he hates it. Yeah, he hates it. He likes me to pass him the ball, but when he has to pass it to me, it's all fancy passes.
Yeah, of course. I got a good question from a really good coach up in the Seattle area. Andy Nelson's asking, in a competitive, cutthroat world of professional basketball, how do you adapt and fit in with each new team you join?
Well, you have to establish the captain. I've learned that you can't step on the captain's toes. You got to be aware that you have to be. It's hard. I don't know, because what I do is I let the captains be the captains. Whatever they want us to do, even though I might be the best player out there, I still give them a chance to be a leader. And if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, I'll message them, or we'll sit down and have lunch with them and be like, hey, what you're doing this and that, that's not cool, or we should do this as a team. Talk to them to build a relationship to where now that I have his approval and he's cool with it, now I can start, doing more, and I can start playing my game instead of just coming in there and stepping on people's toes. Because if you do that right away, you have all these locals that's already there, and they're like, hey, this guy comes in and doing this and yada, yada. We don't like him, coach. Now the coach has to make a decision, or management has to make a decision. And then next thing you know, if you're not liked by the locals or the captains, they're going to send you home.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's really a study of being able to fit in so many different environments. And I've seen so many players.
Surroundings.
Yeah, and I've seen so many players that weren't willing to adapt to their surroundings, that would fight the surroundings, if you will, that didn't want to, give themselves to their teammates, getting into a new situation. And if you want to survive in the game, as you have for a while now, you've got to be able to adapt.
You have to.
Yeah. And speaking of leadership, have you been watching The Last Dance?
I didn't watch it yesterday, but I watched it last weekend because I got back from running late. So my girlfriend was at the time telling us that we just should wait till tomorrow today. But I'm gonna watch it when I get done with this because I got to catch up with it. I asked my friends whatever that I play with and stuff like that, and they was telling me stuff about it. But I had to tell them, hey, don't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I want to catch it, but.
So is MJ in your wheelhouse, or were you kind of a Kobe guy? Like where you're?
I'm a LeBron guy.
LeBron right now? Okay.
I'm a LeBron guy. LeBron guy. I've been a LeBron. Well, I was my favorite player of all time, Tracy McGrady. That's where I grew up. Where I was raised from, where he's from, the same exact area.
Okay.
So he's like a legend there, a god, I should say.
Yeah.
And everybody that even newborns is Tracy McGrady, T-Mac, everything, Tracy McGrady, everything. So. And then I end up getting introduced to LeBron. I was watching him when he was in high school. And then I seen how great of a player he is. I'm like, because my thing with Jordan and LeBron, they're completely two different players. Mm-hmm. You have one guy that has a killer mentality, a score. And then you have a guy that's a pass first guy. He's looking to get everybody involved, making his team better. Jordan can make his team better. Well, he don't really make his team better. It's really Jordan. If Jordan comes out here and do what he has to do, put up 40, 30 or whatever, we're going to win. Instead of LeBron, he gets everybody involved, gets everybody going, and then he takes over the game. Now that you have to guard everybody else, now I can do my thing because I bring so much attention. So my thing with that is you can't compare. Like Jordan was the best of his era. LeBron is the best of his era. But to me, the best person of all will have to be what's his name that played for the Lakers? The big guy.
Kareem.
Yeah.
Kareem
has the best stats of everybody.
Yeah.
Kareem
I love the whole GOAT argument because there's a big national group Jamaica text that we'll have to get you on there, but it's filled daily with LeBron versus Jordan texts back and forth every single day.
The closest person to me to Jordan was Kobe. If you want to compare anybody to Jordan, you have to compare Kobe. You can't compare LeBron to Kobe. I mean to Jordan because they're different. They're one of a kind. Just like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the most skilled player in the NBA. Nobody can stop Kevin Durant. Nobody. 7-foot guard. You don't. That's unheard of. Can't guard him.
Now your coach at Fresno, he had Durant, didn't he?
Yep, he had Durant. All those guys.
Yeah.
He used that a lot too.
So I won't keep you much longer, but we spoke briefly on the phone today, and you talked about your brother. And a lot of times when you're growing up and you have a big brother that beats you up and I'm talking about on the court.
To add him into my motivation.
Yeah,
he was my biggest like how could I say this? To like my brother, he was extremely supportive, but he will take me to the park because he was big for his age too. But when I was in the 6th grade, 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, I was 6 foot. So I was a big kid. So I'm playing with adults and these grown men and stuff like that. And my brother's just dunking on me, just throwing me down to the ground. Like they're just abusing me every single time I go to the courts. And then when we play one-on-one, he just kills me. He was just killing me. He was like, if you ever think you're going to be ready for the NBA and you can't beat me, you'll never be ready. If you can't beat me, you can't go to the NBA.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where before he'll lose, he'll start like fouling, diving on the floor. Then he started using his muscles, the strength, which I didn't have at the time. I had the skill, but I didn't have the strength.
Yep.
And then I did I beat him my sophomore year of college, 2nd year of college. That was the first time I ever beat my brother. And then when I beat him, it was like, because he was playing professionally at the time.
I'm sure you let him know about it too.
Oh, of course. I put it up, blasted all over social media, and everybody was like, what? You lost to Kevin? I was like, yep. He ain't just lose one time. He lost 4 times in a row. And he was like, he told me, it was like, yeah, you got it. And now you got to do something with it. Yeah. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah. Cool. And you told me you got family in Jamaica still, and you were back there a few years ago. Tell me who you got down there. Have you spoken to him at all during the
deal? Sadly, my brother supposedly has the coronavirus. He told me like 4 or 5 days ago.
Oh, and he's down there.
Yeah, he's down there. He works for the medical company that delivers all the stuff to the hospitals.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he messaged me and he was like, yeah, I might have the coronavirus. And then he messaged me the next 2 days and it was like, yeah, they saying I have all the symptoms and everything for the coronavirus and all that stuff. And all I can do here, like I told him, I said, hey, because I know it's hard down there. You living in Jamaica, where he's from, where I'm from in Kingston, like it's hard down there. So I told him, I was like, hey, if you need anything, money for medicine, anything, just let me know. Because I know it's difficult to get certain stuff. If you don't have no money, you're not really getting nothing like that. Yeah. So it just helps you let you know that this stuff is real. it don't really affect people unless somebody of their loved ones that's going through it or been affected by it. That's when people start really taking it serious. So other than that, I mean, I talk to my brother a lot. He's mainly the only one I talk to, but I have an uncle and a cousin that's down there that I talk to almost every day that was up here that actually got deported. Yeah. He was the number one wrestler. He was the number one wrestler in the country, and then certain stuff happened, got into a situation following guys that he had no idea, being in the wrong car that somebody stole and picked him up in, and just got in trouble and then deported him. First time. Yeah, first time. Wasn't his fault, no nothing, just being around the wrong people.
So here's one of our, I don't know if you can see the screen very well. This is one of our assistant coaches, Rowan Robinson. And he says, "Welcome, Kevin. This is Coach Robinson. Can't wait to meet you." And I think he sent this because of your LeBron comments, because he is
what kind of guy is he? Is he a Kobe guy?
No, he's a LeBron guy.
Yeah, he's a LeBron guy. We're gonna get along great. We're gonna get along great.
You'll get along great. Tell me about that. Yeah, I know another thing we spoke about on the phone is just your excitement to get the opportunity to try out for the Jamaica team. Hopefully that comes here soon when we get past all this stuff. Just talk about that a little bit if you would. I'll let you go after that. But what does that mean to you to be able to do this and get back to your roots in Jamaica and maybe be a part of something pretty special?
It means the world to me, just to have the opportunity to be able to play for my country where I was born. And, I have family down there. And I feel like me having an opportunity to do so, if, it happens and I make the team and stuff like that, that'll be a blessing in itself, because not only that, like, I have family down there that, that's struggling and stuff like that, that will let them know that, oh, this can happen for anybody. If it can happen for me, it can happen for you. And to be able to show my country that, I'm worthy or whatever, it's amazing. To be there, to put Jamaica on my back, because I rep Jamaica a lot. Like that's just what it is. And to be able to do that is just, I don't know, it'd be life-changing, because I felt like I always wanted to be a part of something. And I always wanted to leave my legacy. When it's like all said and done, I want to be able to leave a legacy behind. To be like, okay, I did this. This is something, like, to me, the being able to play on the Jamaican national team is like my NBA, I should say.
Yeah.
Like that, doing that is amazing accomplishment. I don't know how other people feel about it. I think it's just an amazing blessing, because people don't get these opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm playing basketball my whole life, and I'm just, probably going to have the opportunity now. So, time waits for the best. So I just take my time and just continue to work out, continue to do what I have to do, and just be the best I can be. If I don't make the team, I'm okay with that, as long as I had the opportunity. Because as long as I get my foot in the door, everything else is up to me.
Well, yeah. You fall into that category. Jamaica had a team, a competitive, good team in 2013. And then the program lost its footing a little bit over the next few years. And you kind of fell into that category of guys that kind of missed out from 2013 at least till now. And there's others in that group as well. But hopefully we can right that wrong and get everyone together and get a competitive team on the floor and get there.
Going.
I'm excited about it the same way you're excited about it.
Yeah, I believe it. It's an unbelievable opportunity to be here talking to you and, talking about stories back and forth. It's amazing. This is a great opportunity.
Cool.
And I want to thank you for that.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it very much. I want to highlight players as we go forward in this process, and I'm glad you had the time to do it today, and can't wait to meet you in person. We'll do it very soon. Stay safe and gosh, good luck to your brother down there who's fighting it, and I got the confidence that he'll be fine, and we'll talk here soon. Thanks for jumping on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Coach.
All right, later. That is Kevin Foster. I want to thank him for jumping on. As I said, we'll highlight these players as we move forward. Wednesday, for those of you in Jamaica, you will know this. We're going to have the guys from the interview on, and I'm excited to talk to those guys and get their feedback on what's happening in Jamaica basketball at Ground Zero down there. And I appreciate everyone that jumped on. My friend Teresa in Illinois, hi to her, Josh Kidd, Brad Friedel, all of Kevin's friends as well. Thanks for jumping on this live cast. We'll keep it going, and we'll see you on Wednesday. And appreciate it. Thanks.